we're going to go back into family one a little after. First, we're still staying with the learning how to sweep our opponent, because that is the first important thing I need to learn. I need to teach you guys in De La Riva before we learn to do other options and attacks. I think that sweeping your opponent, understanding how to sweep is so crucial. So I'm sticking with just the sweep right now, but what you're going to learn is the second family of World 2. So World 1, again, just to recap, World 1 is your shoulders forward. How do you know we're in World 1? Their hands are touching your legs. Your shoulders are forward. I can grab the opponent's collar. World 2, I'm trying to hold the collar. My arm is straight, but they're posturing. That's how you know you're in World 2. They're posturing. Okay, so now we're going into the second family in World 1. World 1, family 1 was Toreando grips, right? Both hands were on my legs. The pros of this were that we were able to remove the De La Riva hook very easy, right? I addressed that by explaining how to position your feet, circling your hand on their hands, right? Depending on each grip, weight on the front leg versus weight on the back leg. The rules of balance you learned. The rules of misaligning my spine. The rules of if my feet are one way, my body has to face that way. The rules of me facing a different direction than where my body is, I collapse. I have no balance. These are all rules and applications and concepts that you're going to be using in this section as well. But again, what did you just learn in the last section? Gripping mechanisms. How each grip, how each frame makes your fort super strong, right? And how we focus on the individual frames on our body, manipulating them, figuring out the strengths in them, the cons in them. And once we know the cons, we know how to work around them. And once we work around that frame, once we weaken that frame, we destroy their fort, right? That is why I keep discussing frames and forts, because it is really a fort. It really is a fort when she places her hands on my body. She's creating her fort on top. I'm creating my fort on bottom. Whose fort is better is going to be who exposes the other fort's weaknesses. And by me focusing on these individual grips on my body will enable me to weaken my opponent's fort, enable me to create a hole in it that I'll be able to get in and blow up the fort, right? And sweep my opponent. So, if you can lay down, please. But I'm here. Family World 1, my shoulders are forward, right? And you know that because you can hold my collar. That means I'm in World 1 for sure. If her arm is straightened, that means instantly I'm not in World 1, I'm in World 2. Right? So now, we're in this position. My leg is forward. Before, I had Toreando grips. What was the pro of Toreando grips before? I was able to remove the De La Riva. I was able to remove this leg. It was a concept of posts. But with posts, notice how I have no hands on her upper body. Because I have no hands on her upper body, it's very easy to off-balance me side to side because I have no control of her upper body. I want you guys to think of it like an arm drag. So just stay seated here. Sit up, please. If I'm, back up a little bit. If I'm here, then I control both legs. And she grabs my collar. If she makes me go to a collar drag, I fall because I have no control of her upper body, right? She's able to move her upper body away from me, and all my weight is on her legs. So I have no balance, and I fall. So if she was going collar drag on me, and I had her collar drag me, she can't anymore because I'm controlling her body. You see the difference? I have an upper body control established with her upper body control. This is so important in Jiu-Jitsu. When my opponent has some sort of upper body grip, having some sort of grip on her hip line or above her body. Otherwise, as you see, I fall. So as we learned, that was the con in the Toreando grips. When I was here, I had both hands like this, and she sweeps me. Look, why am I falling? Because I'm completely on her legs. Just like, sit up please. Collar drag me. Just like in a collar drag, I'm completely on her legs. You see how I have to fall. But if I had her collar drag me, She cannot collar drag me because I have an upper body control with her. So now you'll understand why we're doing this grip. So lay down. Now I'm in De La Riva. The second family in De La Riva is a collar grip on her body. And a pant grip, any pant grip we want on her leg. I'm going to be going over every pant grip they can make on me again, just like we did before. But the implications, the pro of this grip, every time she tries to sweep me to the side, I can post on her body because I have some control of her body. I have a hand to post on her body. That is why I'm stronger now. I am really strong like this. I have control of her body that anytime she tries to move me out of line with her, I can pull myself and align myself with her. As compared to before, when she sweeps me, I have nothing on her, so I fall. You see? So when she tries to side sweep me now, I can post my hand on her stomach, on her chest. So when she tries to sweep me, I can post on her body, straighten my arm, and come back. You'll see many of the top jiu-jitsu people vary between both grips. Leandro Lo does more of on the legs. Lucas Lepri, for example, is more on the collar. And you'll see a lot of guys going back and forth. But for me to establish some sort of upper body control, I need to be controlling the upper body. Or I have to be with the Toriano grips and switch to the upper body once I get over her body. Because if I just stay both hands here, just pull me that way. I have to post my hands because I have no control of her body. So grabbing the upper body gives me some sort of base on her that when she tries to move me off of her, I'm able to keep my weight on her. You see? That is why I'm establishing some upper body control. And that is what enables me to do so. So I'm able to have pressure on her. If I get over one of her legs, I have pressure on her body. That when she pulls me, I have control of her also. Because she's holding my upper body, I'm holding hers. So I'm playing the same exact thing as her right now, if you notice. She's playing on my collar and my ankle. I'm playing on her collar and her ankle. I'm playing guard exactly the same way she is now. You see? That is the difference as before. Before, I was playing guard different than her. Now, my base, my fort is the same as her fort. Okay? So now you're going to learn in this series how we're going to disrupt this arm grip. How we're going to manipulate the cons, the pros, the cons of this grip. And that is what's going to enable us to do our next positions. Okay? So I want you to just understand what we're doing with this arm. It's a post. It's a pulling. We have a lot of options here. We're always here. She's trying to sweep me to the side. I'm posting it with my palm on her body. If my fist was on her body like this, sweep me, look how I fall. Because I'm not using my palm. If I'm not using my palm, look at my body. I can't use my shoulder forward. Look how my fist goes forward. If I posted my hand and my fist is like this, look how my elbow opens. If my palm is like this, look how my elbow is strong. Because I have all my weight on my palm. When I put my weight on my fist, my arm is weak. So my elbow opens and I fall. So when I'm on top here, I'm using my palm on her body like so. If I do my fist, my elbow's open. Look how weak my elbow is. Because when I use my fist, look at my shoulder. It comes forward. You see? When I'm like this, look how my shoulder goes back. You see the difference? That's so important to understand, guys. When I'm like this, my shoulder comes forward. Look how I get swept. When I'm like this, my shoulder goes back. Sweep me. Now I have a base on her. So how are we going to deal with this? How are we going to deal with this palm on our body? That is what I'm going to explain to you next. How we're going to deal with this base. But I needed you first to understand what they're doing with this hand. If they were on their fist, my shoulder would be forward. I would have no balance. So the person on top that's playing here is either pulling their shoulder like this, where now I'm pulling the shoulder forward, but I'm doing it because I'm pulling myself forward to put pressure on her upper body, or I'm putting my palm as a post on her body, you see? So this is where we're going to get into next, but it's going to be the same concept of weight on the front leg, weight on the back leg, manipulating their weight to one side, but we're going to be using our opponent's hips a little differently than before because of their upper body control that they have on us. That's what we're going to be doing in this series, okay? So I want you guys to just understand that grip, and now I'm going to show you all our attacks. Okay guys, so now I'm going to teach you how to disrupt her new base with the collar and leg. And the first thing I'm going to explain to you is what is the con in the base that she's doing. Always when we're doing these positions, we don't first try to learn what our position. What we have to first learn is the holes in their grips, the holes in what they're doing. So
well, it's kind of like when you're in the back of the day in like the Caesar time when there was a fort, you wouldn't just go straight through the fort. You're gonna look for if there's an opening or something,
of course,
right?
Yes. You've been listening.
Yeah, I've been just thinking about force this whole time.
Okay, so So what is the con in this grip? The con in this grip is if I'm holding her collar, what's her De La Riva hook doing? Her De La Riva hook is in. Wouldn't my hand have to be here for her to keep her De La Riva hook out? So every time I hold her collar, her De La Riva foot is in. Right? So I want you to sit on that a second. Come here. I want you to sit on that a second. And why is that important to us? That means one of our frames on her body gets to stay in the whole time. That's amazing, right? Like, we don't have to get rid of our De La Riva hook. Because if we can keep our De La Riva hook in, that's probably one of the most important frames we have on her body. So that is the first thing I want you to think about when the person has your collar. Okay. Now, she might be able to take out my De La Riva if she uses her elbow and sits all the way down. And I'll explain what to do for that scenario. But the amount she has to lean to do that is very hard. Okay. And that is just the first thing I want you to think about. You could keep your De La Riva in most likely in this scenario. Okay. My foot is going to be in. So what does that mean? What does that mean for us? That means that the only hand that's on our leg pushing down is our back leg. So she's trying to take away my back leg, possibly. Which means there's a few ways she could be doing this, right? She could be here and here. She might be pushing it down like we learned with the elbow open. She might be elbow closed here. She might be in the no-gi series of things, right? Or even an alternative, which Lucas Lepre made this pass so popular. Bringing your knee on top of the leg like so, you see. So these are the possible grips that she could really do on me here, okay? Obviously, I'm going to be giving you answers for all of them, but I just want that concept to sit with you. Whenever she's holding your collar, that means she's going to be fighting you on this leg because this is the only hand I have to push down her leg. I can't push down her leg because I'm holding the collar, right? So my hand is not on her De La Riva leg. That's the only way I can fight this leg. If my hand's on the collar, her foot's able to stay in the whole time, which means I get to keep this frame in the whole time. So that is a pro for me on bottom. I get to keep in my De La Riva the whole time. Okay, so now, stand up, please. So, how are we going to disrupt her base on top? We just learned that she's posting on my body. It's the same as if I have a collar drag. So I'm here. If I want to collar drag her, hold my leg. If I want to collar drag her, I can't now because she has my upper body. If she was on both legs, I can make her face go to the floor. You see? Because she has no connection to my upper body. So when I'm here, in De La Riva, and I'm here, grab my collar.
Oh.
When I'm here, and when she's posting her palm on my body, I can't sweep her now. Because her weight is on her upper body. It isn't on her legs. If her arms are both on her legs and I bend, it's back like before where I sweep her here, right? So now what you're going to see is this post on my body, what it's doing. It's keeping her weight on my upper body, just like you learned in a collar drag. So I can't sweep her because her
weight... Is it also keeping your body to the ground too, so you can't sit up?
It's pushing my body down, yes, for sure, my shoulders. But it's also keeping you aligned with me, where I can't change the angle of you because your base is on me, right? Right? So your weight's on me. And her weight's on her palm, right? And remember what I explained before. If she put her weight on her fist, here, you have no balance, right? Because what happens when you put your weight on your shoulder like this? Your shoulder comes forward, right? When you have your fist. Yes?
If I have my fist.
If your weight is on your knuckles.
Oh, on the knuckles, yeah.
Look at your shoulder, your elbow. Look how weak her elbow is. So she collapses because it's the rules of posting. She has no post on me. The only way she got a post is if she has her weight on her palm. Now I can't move her, right? So now what are we going to learn? We're going to learn the con in this force, this frame she has on me. And what is it? Her arm is straightened, right? Instead of trying to bend it, what am I going to do? I'm going to go with it this time. So she's straightening her arm. So I'm trying to crunch, I can't move her. So what am I going to do is, I'm going to push her back, like so. Are you posting on me anymore?
I can't.
You see? So what just happened? Lay down, please. I want you to see what's happening. When she's in Dalahiva, and I have my post on her arm and she straightens me back, my hand is off her body now. I have no more post on her body. My hand is in the air. So what is happening now? I have nothing on her body. So my palm might still be on her body, but my weight in my hand is off of her now. So I have no weight on her. My weight's on my leg and I'm holding this grip, but nothing is on her. So what does that mean? That means I'm hanging. All my weight is on this arm and this leg. And now I'm going to fall because I have nothing on her. So what is this? What is the concept we have to think about here? When a person creates a frame on my body with my arm, we address this by putting their weight on their hips and back. Right? So think of it like this. Stay here. So we learned when someone has a grip on us or wall, a frame, we don't go into it, right? We go around it and we use the frame against them, right? In this case, what we're doing is they have a frame. We go with the frame by going like this. We go with the frame. So there's a frame here. We don't push it. We feel the force of it here. So we bring her butt. We go like this to make her frame stay straight. We let it stay straight. We don't try to bend it. We don't try to bend her arm. Instead of doing that, we're using her body to bring it back. So this is too strong for us, right? We use the hips to bring it back. So now there's no more frame on us. So now her frame sweeps herself. Because if you have a straight arm like this, remember what we learned in the rules of front leg, back leg. I can have this frame as much as I want, right? But the second I lose my frame here and I'm still posting, all my weight is here and here. And now my straight arm is making all my weight on this side really strong. You see? So when I'm like this and she straightens my leg, all my weight, if I keep my arm straight here, is going to make me collapse in the line of my body. That is what's happening when she frames my body. The second her weight leaves her palm, the second she's not able to keep all her weight on my upper body, is the second she's going to collapse. So stand up again, please. So I'm here. Again, how do I play Dalahiva? When I play Dalahiva here, my foot is in the line. Please lean down, please. My foot is in the line of her shoulder, right? I get the Dalahiva hook. My foot is on the ASIS here. I have the collar grip on her shoulder, on her collarbone, right? She's holding my leg and she's here. So she's keeping this frame on my body, right? On my body, right? So her weight's on my body. I can't move her this way because all her weight is here. So instead of trying to bend her post this time, I'm just going to take the weight off of her hand by using my legs because she's leaning her weight on her upper body, right? The more weight she's on her upper body, I'm just going to put more weight on her upper body like so. Look how when I do this, do you have any weight on your post anymore?
No.
And now look how she falls. You see? So the concept I want to explain is it's like if something is posted straight like this, it's like makes you fall even more. It's making you fall even more that your arm is straight in this scenario, right?
Yeah, it actually, I was just going to say that when you told me to put pressure when you were sweeping me, I felt like it was even making me be swept even more.
Because it's making all your weight even more on that side.
It's like this, right? You're kind of giving your back like you said before.
Yes, but it's like keeping all her weight on that side. So it's like tilting her. As if her elbow is like more open, it would be less, like in more proportion. When you're like this, it's even worse for you. And that's why she's getting swept how she is. So stand up again, please. So I'm here. She establishes an upper body control on me. Here. And she straightens her arm. She's here. I can't sweep her to the side because her arm is straight. So, because she has weight on her upper body, I'm going to make more weight on her upper body. Now, she has no weight on me at all. So now look at this. It's like if I was playing top. Remember what I said? When the person has weight on their arms and they bring their legs in, they lose pressure with their arms. But when you bring their legs back, you bring their legs back, you bring their legs back, all their weight is on their arms. And now, but I still have control of her legs. So if all my weight's on my arms and just control my legs, look how I fall. I have no balance. So stand up, please.
Well, that's why also if their arms are like this, you can omoplata them as well because their arms are weightless.
Yes, arm exposure, all the submission exposure is there. We're going to teach that in the future. Right now, we're still working on sweeps. But yes, for sure, you're going to see so many submission opportunities in these exchanges. You know, so we're here. The foot's on the hip. The collar grip is activated, the post on my body, right? So how do we get rid of the post? We just do this. When I do this, look. Are you going to keep my back down when I do this? Now look. You see, she cannot, this hand is useless to her now. We're making her grip useless by stretching her body and making it that she's not posting with it. But she's still using her upper body, so she's leaning. She's leaning with nothing on my body. So it's like, now go to the collar drag on me. No, wait, 1 second. So I have the collar here. So I'm able to use the collar to protect me, right? It's like if I have the collar, but I'm not using the collar. So here I get face planted. But if I'm like this, and I'm not using the collar, so my hand is here, but I'm not using it. My arm is straightened, and I'm like this. Now I'll drag the collar. You see why I fell is because my arm is angled like this. I am not pulling in. I don't have any balance. If I'm here, I'm strong. If my arm is like this, look, that's what I'm doing to her arm when I straighten it and turn the angle. You see? By bringing her hips down, it manipulates that. I can't bring my legs in, so I'm like this, and now I'm falling, you see? So stand up, please. This is so important how you understand how I'm manipulating her hips back, you see? So I'm here, here, here. So she's putting her post on my leg, on my chest like so. All I'm going to do is I stretch, I take all the weight off of me. As I take all the weight off of me, look how she has to fall. So the motion of my feet is like this. I'm using my foot on the ASIS and the De La Riva to push her back. So I'm here. She's posting on my body. She's posting with the straight arm on my body. If your arm's bent, look. So her arm is straight, right? Because now I can't sweep her to the side. So I keep the foot on the ASIS, I keep the De La Riva. I just stretch her body back, like this. You see how her leg moved? That's all I need. Now keep posting on me. Look, the more she posts, the more she's going to fall. You see, the more you try to lean your arm, the more you get swept, right?
Yeah.
You feel like all your weight goes to that side when you keep your arms straight, right?
Yes, it makes it like this.
Because all your weight's going to that side. So as you're here, she's pushing this. So I just stretch her body. Now look at her weight. Look at her weight. Look at her tippy toes. Look at her tippy toes. Now look how she's going to fall. Because this grip doesn't matter anymore. I'm again working around the strength in her arm. I'm this time not even bending her arm. We're literally using her straight post against her. That's how we're sweeping her this time. You see? And again, it's another concept of working around the strength in something instead of going to break the strength in something. She has a post on my collar. She's really strong. We're not going to try to break it. We're just going to move her back with the post. So we're moving her back while she can keep the post. But sure, keep the post. Now you're sweeping yourself because you kept the post. You see? So we're making it advantageous for her to keep the post on her body. And once you notice that she's holding this, she doesn't have any more control of your upper body. So it's like she's in the Toriano grips. It's like she's here, but she doesn't have her hand to protect herself in De La Riva. So it's like she's like this, with all my weight on my legs, leaning, and it's easy to sweep. You see? So stand up, please. Now let's do this, Engel. I'm here. In De La Riva. She's holding my collar, my pants, yes. I'm here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch her like so. Now, the more she tries to keep weight on, so this is all I do, look. So put the foot back. All I do is this. She's putting pressure on me with her hand. I just push with the ASIS on her leg. I keep the control of the collar. I pull down the collar a little bit. I just,
What direction do you pull the collar?
just down a little bit, just the shoulder. Now I stretch her back. Look. Now when I stretch her back, put pressure on me. Look how I sweep her. You see? That is all I'm doing here. So stand up again. I'm here. She's holding the collar and the pants. I get the De La Riva. She's putting pressure on my chest. All I do is this. I go 1. Now I keep the pressure on me. You see, that she, even if her arm is long enough, it wouldn't matter because her hip is back and her shoulder's down. Look how easy it is for me to collapse her body. So that's the new rule of De La Riva that we're learning, is when someone establishes control, framing our body, we pull them off, we keep the grip strong, and then we bend their arm like this. You see? And then what you're going to see is when the elbow is closed like this, you're going to see how things change a little bit, but the straight arm is what's going to initially be like, wow, they feel strong. They're framing my body. They have weight on my body. Once we eliminate that weight on our body, they're done. They have no more attacks on you because they don't have anything pressing your body anymore. So their weight goes back to their legs with them leaning with their weight on their arms.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does it matter where the person puts their arm here? Like, could it put a? Do you have to react differently on bottom if they put their arm on the chest opposed to, let's say, the stomach, or even the shoulder? Does it matter?
You know.
Like,
Well, if you grab
let's say
too high-
instead of here, let's say, right?
If you-
Let's say I'm gripping the shoulder here, or I'm gripping here. Does it make a difference?
The higher you grab, the more compromised your base is going to be.
So it kind of. So you should. So the person
look.
on bottom should react the same.
Yes.
What
but
if I'm on bottom here like this?
if you're lower, you see how you have more of a connection to my body?
Yes.
It's still the same position, but it's just a little stronger, your base. I think the ideal spot for someone to grab would be lower part of the body because it's like less danger always to grab lower, but like in the sternum.
No, but I'm saying like for the person on bottom, how do I have to react differently if the person's grabbing here opposed to here?
No, it's the same concept.
So it just depends on how.
It's just easier if they're grabbing higher.
So it just depends on how far you bring them back, pretty much.
Yes. If my hand's on the palm, I think, yes, like here.
So I have to bring you back all the way, opposed to if your arm was up here, I would just have to bring you slightly.
Because my arm already stretches when I'm here. So look how much easier it is to tilt me. That's why it's a little easier if my hand, it's a little easier if my hand's higher. If my hand's low, you have to stretch my arm a little more, right? Like you have to bring me back a drop more.
Oh, so just depending here depends on how far you bring the person back to then sweep them.
Yes, because you just want to get rid of the post connection of my hand on your body, right? So if I'm here, you just want to eliminate it. Yep, now look how it's basically like I'm not even holding her collar, you see? That's why I have to fall. So that's what I'm doing in this scenario to eliminate the threat of her collar. And again, right now we're able to keep our foot on the ASIS, right? If our foot stays on the ASIS, it's amazing. That's when it's the easiest to do this. So we're going to learn also the different implications of when they go on the gi, when they get their elbow blocking the foot, the no gi. We're going to learn all those details now. But again, the concept is so important. Now we're learning how to use a post against the person without even having to bend their arm. That is why we're doing this. And we just discovered the holes in this style of base in De La Riva. They can't keep you from putting the De La Riva hook in when they do this base, right? That is why it's so effective, this style. That's why it's so easy to sweep my opponent in this style once you understand how they're basing on you. Once we go around this, then it becomes a straight arm and we sweep them. This is their hole in this frame. This is the hole in their fort. And that is what we're utilizing. We found it. We're paying attention to the small grips on the body. That's what we're always doing here. So one more time, fast. Come here. She's holding the collar. So go lower. So yeah, here.
So I'm here, I stretch, I bring her down. And notice, again, same concept as before. When I stretch, look how I can go on my elbow even.
Do you push this into my shoulder when you push me back?
I'm just pushing down, and remember how I finished the sweep before? How I taught them before was here, and then I punched down.
So you are punching the shoulder in a way.
I just pull, and then I push it down.
Okay.
You see, so again, here, you're pushing down my leg. Yes, I'm here. So I stretch, and now I push you down.
It's really strong, this grip.
Yeah, so it's just going down the line of her body and punching, just like in the other series that you learned. When I finish the sweep. You see, so I'm going, she has the same grips as me. I'm here, I sit up, I pull. I'm going on my elbow right now. I can just stretch and do the same position, or I can go on my elbow. So I have a little more torque on her body. So when I move my hand down, I punch her down. You see? I'm more interested in you guys understanding this new grip that she's doing and how to shut it off. So come here, this side now. I'm here, she's holding the collar. Here. Here. Again. Here. Here. Okay guys, so I want you to work that now, and the person on top, make sure your arm is straight and you're putting weight on your palm. Try putting it on your knuckles sometimes to see, like one time, just to see how your elbow opens and you have no balance. So you have to put it on your palm, right? So drill this now, back and forth, and keep your foot on the ASIS, and you'll be able to do this every time. So now I'm gonna teach you another scenario with the collar and ankle grip family. This is going to be a part of the rules I explained to you in De La Riva in general, right? Weight on the front leg versus weight on the back leg, okay? Now, I didn't explain to you circling my leg when the weight's on the front leg when they're holding my ankle, because it's literally the identical rules as before. But I'm gonna quickly go recap that, and then we're going to go on to this next concept, okay? Just stand up, please. So again, I'm in De La Riva. I'm gonna keep saying this so you guys do this. So just back up a little bit, please. I'm in De La Riva, and I'm here. I'm gonna keep saying this so you guys do this. Look at my foot on her shoulder, right? Why is it on my shoulder? So I align my head with my foot so my head is in the line of her shoulder. My foot goes to De La Riva, wrapping around her knee. My foot is on the ASIS. I have the collar. I'm here. Okay? So before, she was straightening her arm, and she's here. Her weight is on the front leg, right? So now I'm gonna explain. Before I just did this, I stretched her. 1. I made her fall. 2. Come back up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you if she has grips on my butt. No, stay with your hand. If she removes my foot from the ASIS, so just remove my foot with the gi grip though. Their hand here first.
Okay.
This one, elbow open, yes. Just like you learned in the previous section, right? So she's here, she removed my leg. All I do is this, I bring my knee to my chest, 1. I go to the hip, I stretch again. She falls, here. Back up. Second one, I'm here. She goes, she removes with her elbow, right? So now I can't bring my knee to my chest. She's the same exact thing as before. So all I do is this. 1, I go here. I go 1, I can't do this. I step on the floor, I put pressure. I go back here, angling around her foot. Now I can go back to De La Riva, remove her hand from my body. I can go on my elbow like this if I want. When I go on my elbow, this gives me more pressure to bring my head toward her body, and then I can push her down. You see? I don't have to go on my elbow. I can do it from here. But if I want to sit up completely, no problem. Now I can use my body to sweep her. You see? So that was the two gi grips, right?
What if I'm gripping the leg?
That's what I'm about to. I'm showing every grip there because I'm recapping the grips.
Okay.
So I'm here. She's holding my ankle. She takes out my leg. She's here. So now I do the first one. I circle my foot around her wrist. 1, foot to the shoulder. ASIS. I sit up on my elbow. Look, I move her grip away from me. I hit her down. Here. Next one. She's here. She's holding my ankle. She gets her elbow involved now. No, get this.
This one.
Yes, yes. I'm here. I step on the floor. I spider her arm. I move my foot. I go here. I stretch. Now my hand is in the pocket of her shoulder. She falls. You see. So, as you see, the grip circling on that back leg remains identical. to the lesson previously on when they're holding your back leg, right? But now, so now we're ready to go on to the next part. And what is the next part? The next part, my opponent is going to be placing her weight on her back leg. Could you lay down, please? The reason being is my opponent might want to attempt to do the leopard style pass here. They might be here to put pressure so they can take a step back and go here. There's so many different things that they could be trying. But notice, my arm is not straight anymore. My elbow is bent. That is why my weight is on the back leg. If my weight was on the front leg and my elbow is bent, look how I fall. Remember, we learned, because I can't post if my weight's on the, I need to post my arm if my weight's on the front leg, right? If my weight's on the front leg, I need to post my arm. You see? Now my weight could be on the front leg, no problem. You see? But if my arm's bent, how can I keep my weight on the front leg? Sweet me? So you see, in order for my elbow to be bent, my weight has to be on the back leg. That's the only way. So get the lever. My weight has to be here, sitting on the back leg. Now sweep me to the side. Now sweep me to the side. She can't because my weight's on the back leg, you see? And you see how my elbow's on her leg? I can start using it to even break the leg off of her knee, you see? This is what I can possibly do here. Okay, and then I can start going to here and start working these passes. Okay, but for now, my elbow is bent. I'm putting pressure, and my weight is on the back leg. And you'll see why it can be. So you see, I could possibly remove her De La Riva hook here, right? I could remove her other frame. Now she has no frames except the collar grip and the ankle, right? And now I could possibly pass. So I'm going to explain to you what to do in this scenario, and it's going to be an overlapping concept again, like all the concepts you're learning, right? So we're here, and she's like this. This is going to be the base. So I'm here. In De La Riva, she has my collar, she's bending it, and she's holding my leg like so. Okay? When I'm here, guys, what I want you to realize, her weight's on the back leg, right? Because her weight's on the back leg, take out my leg, take out my De La Riva hook. It's going to be very hard for her to do this, first of all, you see? Because now she has to start putting weight on the front leg. Because she has to start leaning more, you see? So let's say she's here, she wants to drag my leg, this is what she's doing. So what am I going to do here? The second I see her elbows bent, I'm going to try to sweep her this way. If I can't, that means all her weight's on the back leg, right? All I do is this. I move her this direction. I'm going to pull her leg back, and I'm going to come back this way. When I come back this way, I chopped her foot again. Look how she falls. Okay, so come back, please. Look what's happening. When I put her weight on the back leg and I bring her this way, her base is completely compromised on this side again. And we're able to do the sweep we learned previously. So when she's holding the collar, she's putting pressure on me here, right? I just have to do this. If I feel that the De La Riva is uncomfortable, all I do is this. I go the side of my foot on her body, just to bring her elbow in a little bit. They go here. Now that my elbow's in, I'm just going to pull her shoulder, use my fist grip on her neck to make her post where her base is, right? Now what I'm going to do is this. I can keep my foot here, it doesn't matter. I have my De La Riva hook in now, so I can use it to even lift up if I want. I'm just going to place the foot under my butt. And as I do that, I'm going to go here. I'm going to end up in this spot. But notice, she still has a straight arm on my body. But I altered the angle of her foot, right? And what we learned in the rules of balance, she has no balance right now, right? But she still has her hand. So all I do is I apply the same concept we just learned before because she's posting her hand. I'm just going to straighten her arm even more here. And because her arm's straightened even more, look how she falls. You see? So this new application of the rule of the collar we're using over and over now when she's doing the post on my chest, right? This collar grip, we're not trying to bend her arm. If she bends her arm, no problem. We just go with it. If she straightens her arm, no problem. We bring her back and then we sweep her. You see, this is what we're doing. So stand up, please. So we're here. She's holding the collar grip. She bends it now. I just put my foot on her hip. I move my foot here. All I do is this. I'm just going to pull her this direction. I bring her hip this way. And now, you see how she's already straightening her arm, right? Don't straighten her arm this time. Now look. She's defending already before I'm going there because she feels very uncomfortable that I'm bringing her that way. So she starts straining her arm even more. Now when she straightens her arm, she's really off balance. So over here, she's starting with her elbow bent, right? And when her elbow is bent, I can sweep her here. So she has to put her weight on the back leg. Now her weight's on the back leg, I can't sweep her here. So I go here. She starts using this arm as a frame. All I do is this. I'm here, I chap it, I sit up on my elbow, I pull the shoulder away from me. So keep your arm on my body. You see, now all her weight's on her legs and her foot's chapped. So now look how she falls. You see, it's so easy to do this style of positioning because I'm using the same concept that you just learned previously. That when the arm is straight, we take it off of us and then we sweep her down. So let's change the angles, please. So we're here. She's bending her arm. If I can, I'll sweep her this way because her weight was on the front leg. So she has to put her weight on the back leg so I can't do this. Now all I do is this. Hold the leg please, and then you post, I'll let you post. So I pull the collar, I punch, and I make her post here. Once I make her post here, my foot remains on the ASIS, on her leg. I go here, all I'm going to do is this. I push, I'm just going to bring my hip back, connecting her foot under my butt like so. She's remaining with the post on my arm. And you see, she keeps straightening her arm because she feels so uncomfortable if she kept her arm bent. Your arm was bent before, right?
Yeah.
So if your arm is bent now, would you just collapse?
Yes.
You see? So that's why she keeps turning and switching her hand to straightening her arm. You see?
It's kind of natural.
It's natural, yeah, but you see, she didn't even know she was doing that because her arm was bent initially, right? So she's naturally framing because she's losing balance. She's using this arm as a post. And what we learned in the rules of posting is the person's posting on our upper body. We don't try to bend the arm. We just use our upper body to wrap around it. So keep your arm straight. We use the upper body to wrap around the arm to chop it to sweep. You see? So on our legs, when someone's posting on our legs here, we bend their arm, right? And we go here. When they're on our upper body, we don't bend it. We just go around it. Look. You see how I go around it with my body? And now I sweep her with it. You see the difference?
Yes.
So let's go back to this. So I'm here. I'm in Dalahiva. She's here. Bend your arm, please. Yeah, she's here. She's putting pressure on me. I just do this. 1. Just to push her elbow, just to drop more in. I try to sweep her this way. If I can, awesome. That means that her weight was on the front leg. She does it again. She's here. I try to close. I try to sweep her this way. Now I can't, right? Because all her weight's on the back leg, where she can start dragging my leg out, right? So the second I start feeling this weight is on the back leg, all I do is this. I'm going to pull the shoulder to me, move her head this way, and I go here. Now she's already posting her arm on my body to balance. Because if she didn't, she would just collapse. So now I push the leg in, I come back. As I come back, she's still posting on me. The rules of base here. When she's on my upper body, I don't bend her arm. I just push her away with it, putting her weight on her hips. Now look how she falls. You see? So let's change slides again. So I'm here. Here, Dalahiva. She's putting pressure on me. Her arm is bent, but I already feel her weight on the back leg. But if I didn't know, I would just do this. And I can't move her. That means her weight's on the back leg. So all I do is this. 1, I move her this direction. She's framing on me now. So I just keep the Dalahiva, I keep the ASIs, I keep framing with my leg. I move her butt, under my butt. Now she's framing here, I just sit up. Now look how easy it is for me to move her body down. Here. You see? This is all I'm doing here to accomplish this sweep. So it's exactly the same concept as before, guys. Exactly the same. The only thing that's varying is how we're using the application of her straight arm. You see, that's on my upper body. We're making it that it's no longer helping her that she's framing my upper body. We're killing her post by doing this. And I think that this is another rule of posting. When it was on the legs, we bend the arm. When it's on our upper body, we don't necessarily have to bend the arm. We just have to make it that we put their weight on their hips and take their pressure off of their arm and let them keep it straight. We don't care if the arm is straight or not, because once their arm is straight, it sweeps them if their hips are involved. it sweeps them if their hips are involved. You see? And again, so we're here. I get the De La Riva. I'm here. I'm in this spot. She's freeing my body. So she's here. Her elbow's bent. So I connect. I get here. I try to sweep her this way. I can't. I move her this direction. I'm lifting up her leg. I get to this spot here. Guys, you see how the arm is exposed right now? I know that you guys can see this, that there's many submissions that I could even attack here on this arm. You see, even like a triangle. There's so many different things. Because a rule you're going to learn in jiu-jitsu is whenever the arm is above your hip line, I can expose a submission on her, an upper body attack, which you're going to learn in future lessons with me. But right now we're sticking just with this initial attack, and I need you guys to master these concepts so then we can keep perfecting these concepts. And once we're able to sweep all our opponents, they're going to make their bases other ways. And then once we make their bases other ways, we're going to be able to do so many other things. That is why I'm putting it together like this. That is why I think it's so fundamentally important that you learn how to sweep your opponent when we're in these spots. So when she's holding the straight arm on me, and we're here, and I stretch, you see, I just sweep her back, right? So come back up. Now your weight goes to the back leg and you bend your arm, right? Because if your weight's on the back leg and you straighten your arm, right? Look at this. You see how I can just attack the submission? So she has to bend this arm when she's here. You see? Now I move her this way, I make her post. She's framing on my body. All I do is I come back and I chop the foot under me. I go on my elbow because it gives me a little more distance to straight arm. It gives me a little more distance to keep the straight arm. Now I can push her down. And look how she falls every time I do this scenario, right? So let's just change sides. I just need you guys to really understand how I'm using my body here, what we're doing, and how we're shutting this grip off, okay? Just one more time, quickly. So I'm here. Bend your arm. I go here. I come back. Now I straight. I sweep you down. Now one more time this way. Right here. So her elbow's open, right? Just a little bit. Then I just do this. I just use my thigh to push her elbow. I keep square with her head to her shoulder. I get the De La Riva. I bring her this way. I lift the leg. I come back. I straighten her arm. I make her fall. We land with her butt on the floor. Entering the sweep system, entering the Berimbolo system, entering the leg lock system, entering all our paths to attack her. Okay? I want you guys to work this now, and I want the partner on top to practice this space. Yeah. I want the partner to practice this space. So first you're here, right? You get swept when you're like this. Now you're gonna bend your arm, and you're gonna put all your weight here. Now sweep me this way. So I have to be, if I'm bending the arm, with my base here like this. So now sweep me. You see how I can base now? So I have to have my base correctly here. And that's what's going to teach you how to base correctly, is doing this drill on top. Understanding how to base here. Because if I don't, I'm just going to collapse. I have to figure out how to base. So when she pulls me this direction, I'm posted already, right? Now she could come back and sweep me. My arm is framed. Now all my weight's on this front arm. Look at my tippy toes. Look at my tippy toes. You see how I fall?
Can I ask you a question, please?
Yes.
So could you stand up again, please? So you know how you're grabbing here and you're leaving your shoulder in? I mean your elbow in. So the same concept as before. Does it matter if you're grabbing up here and putting your elbow in, or does it matter if you're grabbing lower?
Well, if you're De La Riva on me and you're grabbing high, how can I push down your leg? You see? So the lower my hand is, the more my elbow could connect to your knee, right? So then now you can put the leg on my butt, and now you can push my elbow in, and now you can get De La Riva. Yes. Now you see?
So it's the same concept no matter how high they're grabbing?
No, it isn't the same concept, because if I'm too high here, I can't touch your knee unless I pull and touch your knee. So I guess it is the same concept.
If you pull and touch your
If you're pulling, you just do the same thing. Just connect your foot to my butt. Now push my elbow in. Yes, and now come back. Yeah, so watch. If you pull my body up with this here, which is very common when they do knee cuts here, right? So if they pull me up like this, so grab my collar higher and pull me up, and now use your knee on my, like this. All we do is this. See, so you're pulling me up, you help me sit up. You see?
So you push the knee in, you push my elbow in with your knee to...
I think this is the motion that they have to understand, is this. How I sit up on my elbow if I feel like you're pulling me. So every time you pull me, I'm like this. I go with your pull. here. And then look.
Okay.
I see it as like a sweep on your elbow. Like I'm just sweeping your elbow down like this. So if she pulls me up, I'm just gonna go with her motion up. That's what's gonna help me in this spot. So if she pulls me up, I use my knee on her elbow first and I sit up. I push her elbow in. And look how I'm able to sweep you when I chop your elbow. See how I'm like chopping your elbow? So if they pull you, it actually helps me sweep you more in that spot.
Okay.
So it doesn't even matter the angle of the arm. It just matters how we're using the arm against them. So yes, if the elbow's bent and they're putting their weight forward at all, we could use that as like arm chop sweep, sweeping them forward. Because every time the elbow's closed, what happens to my shoulder? It comes forward. So when you're pulling me forward, look at your shoulder. See how your shoulder is forward?
Yeah.
So that's why when I close your elbow, look how weak you are here. So I think that's like very important to understand. But I don't feel like you could pull me if your weight's on the back leg, I'm on the back leg, right? Could you only pull me with the weight on the front leg? You see, now you're here, so now it's like this, right?
Yeah.
You can't really take me off the floor with this if your weight, unless your weight's on the front leg. Here, it's like here. I guess you kind of can, but then your elbow gets chopped anyway.
So you just evaluate the situation, go either that side or this side?
Yeah, just depending on your base, because we're just feeling where your weight is on your legs, right?
Okay.
Because once we feel your weight's on the front leg, we can close your elbow if your arm's bent, right? Like, look. Again, when your arm's bent, if I'm here, I just close your elbow with my knee. You see, I close your elbow with my knee?
Mm-hmm.
So close, yeah. So I close your elbow, and now look how I can sweep you. So come back up. If your arm is straightened, now I bring you forward, and now I don't close your elbow. I just go around your grip.
Okay.
Then when your weight's on the back leg, and you're here, I bring you this way, and now I can sweep you here. And if your arm is bent, you just come back one more time with the arm bent. If your arm is bent, and your weight's on the back leg, I go here, but keep your arm bent. Keep your arm bent. Now look how your elbow's chopped. You see? So if you keep your elbow chopped and your arm bent there, you have to come back like that, you see? Yeah, so I want you guys to work this now, and you could even play with the elbow being bent and closed. I'm doing this as more an open discussion because I feel like I could express my ideas better to you guys in this format and explain all the implications at this spot. I hope you guys understand, and let's work it. The most important concept in De La Riva I discussed before, we're going to learn how to solve this concept. And this concept is the most important part of De La Riva that you're going to learn. And why it's the most important? Because when you learn this concept on bottom, how to deal with it, on top, you're going to be amazing at passing De La Riva. Because you're going to understand how to place your body in the most annoying way for the person on bottom. So lay down, please. I explained this before a little bit, but the concept being is this. Every time my foot here, it exceeds her hip, I can generate pressure on her. Why is that? One, keep your De La Riva hook now.
It's hard. Or is it supposed to be better?
Put your De La Riva right now. See how easy it is? When I put my foot up, the angle of my leg makes it super difficult for the person to keep their De La Riva hook in. You see? So when my foot's down, look how she has a place for her foot to wrap around my leg. When I walk up, look how her leg comes out more and more and more. That's the first reason why walking my foot up is so advantageous when I'm on top in De La Riva. The second reason why, I want you to think of De La Riva as her upper body and legs are separate. As you've been learning all the sweeps, if I'm on the legs, I fall. If I'm on the upper body, it's separate. Like they're two separate parts of the body, right? When my foot is on this part of her body, I'm just with my legs. But when my foot exceeds her body, it's like I'm holding a collar grip. I have volume on her upper body at the same time as volume on her legs. You see? Because my leg is on this part of her body, but my foot is up here. What does that mean? If I was to step over her leg in De La Riva, and I was here, how could I get over her legs if all my weight is completely on her legs? I couldn't, right? I would need to grab her collar, which would be controlling her upper body, right? Then I could pull myself in
and put pressure on her and start passing her guard or whatever. But notice, what did I have to do to get control of her? I had to establish upper body control. I needed my body to exceed the line of her legs. I needed some of my body's volume on top of her upper body to control her. So when she has the De La Riva on me, and my foot is above her body, you see, it's exactly the same thing as the collar grip I just did, because it's above the line of her legs. So I have upper body control on her when my foot exceeds the line of her body. What does that mean? That means I could pass her guard many different ways with my weight on top of her body here. It's like I have a collar grip on the top of her body. Opposed to, if I'm here with no grips on her upper body, I get over her body here, how am I going to pass the guard here? You see? So that is the most important concept for playing top in De La Riva or playing bottom in De La Riva. Every time my foot exceeds the line of her body, one, it makes it difficult for her to have her leg in. Two, I have upper body control on her. Notice, when I have my foot above, the attacks possible will include the leg drag, will include the knee cut, will include folding passes. There's so many different options that I can do if my foot exceeds her body. So on bottom, I have to be always paying attention to where that foot is if it exceeds the line of my legs and upper body. Because they're two separate parts and you have to understand how to use both, how to prevent both. And the rule of thumb is every time I can keep my opponent's foot lower than their upper body, their attacks are they're so limited because I don't have any volume on her upper body. So, just get De La Riva. So if I try to leg drag her here, bring her to your chest, but watch. If I try to leg drag her, bring her to your chest, but look where my leg is. Opposed to, if I go to leg drag you here, bring her to your chest, why is she able to come back? Because I have nothing in this part of her body to get this pass, right? If I'm here and bring her knee back, you see how my body is above her line of her body? So it's like I have a collar grip, the same exact concept. That is why we're establishing upper body control on her legs, right? That is why my foot is up. But how do I bring my foot up? Basically, when you're in De La Riva, the way to bring it up is you walk your toes up. You walk your toes up. So I'm doing this with my foot. That is what's helping me bring my leg up. So whenever the person's here, you walk your leg up. Now I'm here. Now they lost their first thing. So now her foot is weakened severely when my foot gets up, creating this huge space that's very problematic for me here. Sorry. So that is why I'm going to teach you right now how to address when the foot exceeds the line of my legs. Okay, so stand up, please. So now you're going to learn a new concept. And what is that concept? The concept is moving the person away from you versus moving yourself away from them. A new rule you're going to learn in De La Riva is you're going to feel the weight vary from their arms and their legs. When you feel their weight is anchoring on their legs, every time their weight's anchoring on their legs, I can move myself away. Every time I cannot move myself away, it's because their weight's on their arms. What does that mean? Please. So I'm here. I'm in De La Riva. The weight is on her legs. So put your weight on your legs. Yes. So now her weight's on her legs. I can move myself away. Now come back. Now I'm going to try to move away from her. But put your weight on your arms now. I'm going to try to move away. I cannot move away because she's using her arms on my legs. So I can't move away when she's putting her weight on her arms. So now I can move her away from me. So this is a really important concept I need you guys to understand, that as she's using her arms, her legs are light. But when she's using her legs, I'm able to move myself back. So I'm never forcing one or the other. I'm baiting her to give me one or the other. And so this is how I'm going to teach this position. We're going to start here. My opponent's going to bring their foot above my hip. You see, my foot is already coming out, right?
All I'm going to do is this. I'm going to try to do the first one where her hands are on her here. I just explained to you before how to move her body, right? I use my foot in the ASIS. I use the shoulder. I'm just going to move her back. But I'm not going to move her back like to the other side. All I'm going to do is this. I'm going to move her back and I'm going to take her from push her leg back. Look how I'm able to push her leg back and trap her foot under my leg. Now I'm back to regular De La Riva, you see? So every time her foot exceeds my body, all I do is this. Here, here. Again. I'm here. I just bring her body this way, using my collar, and I push her leg down. Here, here. Now her foot is below the line of my legs. All her attacks are limited. Leg drag me. Look. Do you feel like you have any pressure on me when you're leg dragging me?
No.
Now bring your foot above my body. Now leg drag me. You see how she has volume on me? It's because her foot's exceeding the line of my legs. Do you see how significant that is with the foot?
Really crazy.
Even the knee cut. Step over my leg. Look, I could come back. Now bring your foot above me. Now step over my leg. I can't come back because of the volume of her leg above my body. That is why I'm explaining it to you like this. You see how significant this is? Every attack she can do, she needs her foot above my body. So let's change sides. Now we're learning how to manipulate her leg to stay below the line of my upper body, creating all her pressure off of me. Because my upper body is free and she only has her legs on my legs. Okay, so we're here. I'm in De La Riva. She brings her foot above the line of my body. I'm here. All I do is this. I bring her body this way. I'm going to push her leg away. So my head here. My head is in line with her shoulder, right? But when I do this, I'm actually going to put my head on the floor. I could be here, no problem, or I could be with my head on the floor. And I'm just going to pull her body away from me, placing her foot under my hip. And now I can sweep her if I want, or I could just do all my options here. Even if her foot's square, it doesn't matter. I don't have to chop the toes. I just have to get her foot below the line of my upper body, right? So come back. We're here. Bring your foot up. Yep. We're here. 1, 2. Now I'm back here. Now she has no pressure on me. Now her arm is posted, so it's easy to bend her arm and sweep her, or whatever I want to do. I just need to remove that foot from being above my body. And again, the rules are, if I feel like it's hard for me to move back, that means the weight is on her arms, which means I can move her legs. I can manipulate her legs because the weight's on her arms. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do the same position again. So I'm here. I'm in this spot here. I'm going to try to do the same position again. But I want you this time, instead of your weight on your arms, to put it on your legs.
Okay.
Yes, this. And now I'm going to try to move. I cannot move her legs off the floor because all her weight's on her legs. So this is now what you're going to do. You're going to drill trying to move her, and you're going to feel like, wow, I can't move her this time. So what am I going to do? All I do is this. I keep the grip on her collar. I'm going to keep my arms straight. I'm going to put my neck on the floor, and I'm going to just back up like this. So how am I backing up? A lot of people say in jiu-jitsu, oh, walk your shoulders. I don't necessarily like walking my shoulders. When I walk my shoulders, I lose pressure on her body. My hips are compromised. I like to back up directly back. A straight line like this. Why is that? Because I keep the same pressure on my hips when I back up, directly moving my spine backwards. So bring your foot higher than me and put your weight on your legs. So I can't move her, right? So I just do this. 1, 2, 3. So I'm walking my body like this. I'm bringing my back backwards, my butt. So I'm here, I go down the line of my spine. Back. Look where her foot is now. So bring your foot back up. Here. I'm here. I get back to this spot. Once I'm here, I'm back to all our attacks before. You see our arm is already bent? I can sweep her. So come back up. Change sides. These movements are all going to come with practice. This is the movement that you're going to have to learn how to do. That's all I'm doing. I'm just going in a straight line. And I do this literally everywhere. Collar, sleeve, everywhere. Because if I shoulder shrug, I lose pressure on her hips. My hips are activated. But if I go in a straight line, the pressure on my hips remain the same. So I'm able to keep the same pressure. So I hang from the collar when I'm here. And I back up in a straight line. You see? So come here. So I'm here. Mindela Hiva. She puts her weight on her legs. So I can't move her. All I do is this. I keep a straight line with my shoulder, my collar grip, and I back up to move my body back. Now look where I am. She's straightening this. I bend her arm. Look how I can sweep her. You see? So come back up, please. So you see how I'm moving, but another concept I need you guys to see. Why are my hips really powerful here? The grip of my collar is on her collarbone. But what am I doing? I'm creating a U grip where my hand is in the shape of a U. Why am I creating a U grip? When I create a U grip, it activates certain muscles in my hips and my body, which make me feel very strong, where I'm able to keep pressure with my legs. The problem is when people are here, your legs above me, and I try to back up like this, my legs are gonna be weaker. So bend my legs when I start backing up. Look how my legs are gonna start bending. Now bend my legs. It's because the activation of my hips is way stronger when I keep this U grip.
Are you raising your shoulder when you do this?
I'm not raising, I don't think I'm raising, I'm just pulling the collar, getting to the U grip, and now I'm keeping the straight arm on your leg. Put your weight on your legs though. Yeah. So now I can move you, your weight's on your arms. Yes. Now I can't move her. I can still move you, your weight's on your arms. Put your weight on your legs. So now I can't, yes, now I can't move you. So what are you doing different now?
I'm putting my weight down like I'm sitting in a chair.
Okay, so your weight's on your hips. So now I can't move her, but your foot has to be above me. Yeah, so you're here. I can't move her now. See how I can back up now with this grip? And I straighten the arm and I'm making her bend. Because as I make her bend again, I can move her again this way. So stand up. I'm here. Mindela Hiva. So bring your foot high. We're here. I'm trying to pull her down to move her leg. This is one. The second one. I can't move her leg now. You see I can't move her leg? Now all I do is I keep the collar, I make a U grip, and I'm just gonna hang. Pulling the collar a little bit, straightening my arm, making a U grip. And now with this hand, I'm on the part of her leg like this because I'm framing. That's when, remember I explained to you that I frame on her body? I frame on her leg like this, look. So when I'm on her ankle now, look what I'm doing with my hand on her ankle. I'm making a frame on her ankle like this. Because I'm framing her ankle, I'm able to back up. That is why I'm framing like this. That is why I explained that the ankle grip is a frame. This is how you're learning the ankle grip is a frame. We could use the ankle grip to keep this foot isolated and pushing down. And I can use it to push off of it. Just like if I was pushing her chest or her arm. I'm pushing her leg the same exact way, you see? So when I'm here and I'm framing her leg, when her foot's too high, I immediately go to frame her leg, you see? If I'm going to lift her up to change sides, I even go here, I go here first and then I frame the leg. Look how my hand went to the center, to this part of her leg, the frame. So now you're learning to see how I'm framing her leg. You see how my hand was first like this? I bring the meat of my hand to her ankle. Now I'm able to use that as a frame on her leg. That is why I'm able to push it back. You see, I'm framing it just like if I was stiff arming her. So if I was in guard and she was passing with a Toriano or whatever, here, I'm stiff arming her arm like this, right? If I'm in guard here, and I'm here, this way, and I'm here, look how I frame her leg, just like a stiff arm. I just straighten, I go here, I back up, framing her leg. Or if her weight's on her arms. I move her, I frame her leg. But the meat of my hand is going to this part of the ankle, so I could frame her leg, you see? So I'm creating this frame on her leg in both scenarios. And so the mechanism is I'm holding the ankle regular. You'll see me holding the ankle like this. This is one way I hold the ankle because I can torque the knee. I can manipulate the knee this way. But then you'll see my hand move circling around the ankle as well to push the leg in. So that's what I'm doing in this scenario. I'm using this to push it in. Okay, so that is the two most important concepts you need to learn here. And I need you to understand that sometimes when we're doing this, you're going to try one, they're going to switch their way to the other. And they're going to understand the concept that you're switching back and forth to do. So then you're going to have to keep going back and forth with each concept. Okay, so if I'm here, and I'm in Mindela Hiva, and she's here. I start moving her this way. She might put her weight on her legs immediately. So I start moving back. Now she's gonna use her arms to push and walk up more. Now I go back here. So you see how I'm combining both series of things together? Now she's switching between her arms and legs back and forth. And again, this is gonna make you really understand how to play top in Del Hiva because you're understanding how to push down my leg now. It's a matter of concepts when we're here. She has her concepts on top, I have my concepts on bottom. It's whose concept is faster is gonna win this fight if she understands this concept on top. Okay, so she understands switching her weight back and forth, and I understand switching her weight back and forth. It's gonna be who does it faster, essentially, because we're both fighting the same concepts, right? That is why I keep stressing to you how important it is you understand how to do this on top, because you're doing the same thing on top as bottom. Guard and passing are the same. They're exactly the same. She has her fort. She's using this concept against me, and I'm using this concept against her because I'm switching back and forth from ankle here, pulling, pushing, right? Because one of them, when I pull down her collar, look, I'm pulling down the collar, right? This one, I'm hanging on the collar. So you see, one of them, I'm pulling the shoulders forward. The other one, so put your weight on your legs. Yeah. Your weight's on your shoulders. One of your foot's higher. Oh, I'm moving. So one of them, I'm moving her. That's her shoulders. Now the other one, her weight's on her legs. I can't move her, right? But now I'm just gonna hang and use my grip like this with the U grip to move my body back. You see? So they vary back and forth in this position. That's how I'm doing this. And that's how she's gonna understand how to fight me here as well. Because now things are gonna be added in, like if she's holding my collar and she's here, and she's putting her weight forward now here. Now I can move her here, but then go back. Hold the collar and bring your foot higher. Now frame my chest. So now it makes it hard for me to move you. You see, I cannot move her at all right now. But look, I'm gonna use her straight arm against her, just like you learned. Look, 1, 2. Look, you see how the straight arm affected her? So come back. So she's here. She's putting pressure on me. 1, 2. So let's move back. So the implications of both of the grips will be like this. She's holding both legs. Here, she comes forward. I feel like you could be stronger with keeping the shoulders for this one, right? But when you have the collar, you could kind of frame to stop me from moving you here, right?
Yes.
You feel like that? You feel, because you can keep my upper body down. So because my upper body's down, I just straighten her arm more. 1, 2. You see, now her foot's behind me again. So that's what I'm doing. And I want you to play with that on top and bottom. Walking your foot up, I want your partner to practice moving the foot back, either if they're holding the collar grip or the Toriano grips. That's where we're gonna work now, and you're gonna see how you're gonna get good at doing both things and combining both things together. And once the foot's below your butt, we have so much less problems to deal with. So I want you to work this now. Let's